Thanks for that, Tabo. And yes, indeed, this is Business Unusual. And today is Thursday, and we'll be taking stock and I guess throwing back to some of the interviews we've had over the last week or so and some of the conversations that we've had and brought to you. Now, Throwback Thursday, welcome to it. I'm your host, Ayabonga Cawe, and this week we've had Startup Mondays, Stock Market Tuesdays, and Job Seekers Wednesday yesterday. And these are going to be the recurring themes we'll be having conversations over every single week. Now, we do want to take you back to some snippets of the conversations we've had over the last few days or so, where we really packed them with some great insights. But before we do that, I want to take a look at some of the top business stories of the day. Now, one of those involves Deputy Reserve Bank Governor Daniel Mkokeli, who is retiring, and he'll be retiring when his second five-year term ends at the end of this month. And that's in just a few days from now, 3 days from now. And the Reserve Bank will have to find a replacement for Mkokeli, and also Francois Groepe, who will also step down earlier on this year in January, and he's yet to be replaced. And to unpack this particular story, and of course, other stories in the marketplace, including those criminal allegations leveled against the former executive at sugar giant Tongaat, I'm joined in studio by Sam Mkokeli, Newzroom Africa's business editor. Sam, unjani bhuti?
Good. Kunjani bhuti?
I'm good, man. I'm good. What do you make of Daniel Mkokeli? Certainly his own legacy, having been with the South African Reserve Bank since 1999. And I guess over the last few months or so, he's become, alongside Lesetja Kganyago, a very strong voice in defense of the inflation targeting framework.
Look, really, time flies. I remember when he came back from overseas, and he's got an incredible CV. Very competent fellow, really
G20
fascinating
guy as well, yeah.
Fascinating South African. So now he's leaving the bank, having served 2 terms, and retiring. Say thank you very much. I've done what I can, and it's time to move on. So the 2 vacancies now at the top, and I'm sure the finance minister and the president know exactly by now who they want there. They had a meeting 2 weeks ago. So, your job and mine is to find out and tell our viewer before the president does, hey, this is who they're bringing in and this is what it means.
What's the rumor mill saying there, Sam?
Look,
who are you, I guess, seeing as some of the front runners for that role?
I need to come back to that before I even answer it because I don't know. But I'll do my best. I promise you, I'll do my best to find out before it actually comes through officially. But I'm interested now to see where he's going. There's a bank with a vacancy at the top.
Time Digital Bank.
Absa?
Absa as well, yeah.
My money's on Absa.
Okay.
Let's see.
That revolving door we often see there between regulators and, of course, there's some of those in the world of banking. But, of course, the other gentleman whose 5-year term is set to end towards the end of this year is the governor himself, Lesetja Kganyago. He's indicated that he's still willing to continue in that role if, of course, the president sees him fit to do so. And if he does continue, what does that mean for the work that the Reserve Bank has done, and in particular, the work of the Monetary Policy Committee and the regulatory role they play over banks?
Look, Mr. Ramaphosa, I don't think he's in a position to play around with the leadership of the bank now. With the 2 vacancies, you'll be bringing in 2 new people, and then the Monetary Policy Committee, they've had 1 person appointed to that committee. The bank plays quite an important role, beyond inflation, inflation targeting and interest rates, really. So you want to have a stability and a continuity at the top. So I don't think the president, if he has a choice, if the governor is happy to stay on, I think the president will have to ask him to reappoint him to that position.
It's probably not the kind of headache that President Cyril Ramaphosa is looking for after, I guess, the critique he's received over the last few days or so for some of his nocturnal and dreaming habits.
Yeah. I don't think he will shake things up. He want to shake things up. The bank plays quite an important role, regulation and the whole financial system, really. So you just don't want to mess around too much.
Now here's an interesting one. Tongaat coming out, and of course the South African Police Service also coming out, and they're saying that a criminal case has been laid against one of the former executives who was involved in this manufacturing of asset values, or the cooking of the books, if I should put it that way. Any clues on who this person is? And more importantly, this probably, I guess, after Steinhoff, is the one example where we're seeing law enforcement authorities being called in to come in and investigate some of the corporate scandals that we've seen.
Look, it's not clear at this stage, I mean, the finer details about the aspect of the criminal case, but this tells us now that this case, the Tongaat case, is different to the Steinhoff one. Because Makasiose is still out there, despite people losing value quite seriously, and dramatic cases really that look with the naked eye to be criminal, but we didn't see any criminal action around Steinhoff. But with Tongaat, now it tells you that it's a completely different one. But I still want to see how the auditing profession holds itself accountable and around what has happened. I'm quite keen to see Deloitte and looking around their role in this matter and how it got out of hand and what actions themselves they will be taking or announcing. So even ERBA as the regulator, I'm quite interested in what is it that they will be finding. If the police find it necessary to investigate, then it tells you there's something quite big that has happened.
Okay, Sam, we'll have to leave it there, and we'll certainly catch up with some of these big stories in the world of business tomorrow. That there was Newzroom Africa's business editor, Sam Mkokeli, speaking to us this afternoon here on Business Unusual. Let's take this brief break, and on the other side of that break, we continue to bring you some throwbacks from the conversations we've had this week and taking stock of some of the insights that we've shared over the last week or so. Stay with us.